Hello and welcome back to the U Up podcast. I'm Jordana Abraham.
And I am Jared Freed. It is so good to be back here with you, Jordana. We are here for the listeners or the viewers on YouTube. We are, what would you call this? We're
Spotify HQ.
Well, yeah, we're at Spotify, but like this is, are we like, you know, we're being given like the guest pass?
Here's what's happening.
Are we
I
squatters?
don't even know if you know what we're doing.
I don't know what we're doing.
So the Betches podcast recording studio is under construction. We're changing it up. We're making it better. It's going to be fun, nicer, more full body, like the one you're seeing here. If you're watching on YouTube, if you're watching on YouTube, you're like, what is this background? Where's the thing? So we're here. Spotify has generously offered to let us record here while the studio is under construction, and it should be done by next week. So we'll be back in our offices by next week with a new office.
Well, that's so exciting, but it's also the lighting here is fantastic.
Yeah, they know what they're doing. I mean, they should.
They should. They are the behemoth, the Spotify.
I have to say though, I mean, having lived in New York for 10 years, I have no idea what anything in Phi Dai is. I got off the subway down here, and I was just like, I went the wrong direction 6 times.
Totally
I have no idea where I'm going.
Totally different everything here.
Right?
No grid. It's not First Avenue, Second Avenue, Second Street, First Street. And yeah, it's very confusing. And if you don't come here all the time, every time you come here, you're in a rush and you're late, and
you don't know where you're going, and the buildings are enormous, and you have to check in. It's like 45 minutes.
And Google Maps doesn't work. It's like one of those, like you're on Google Maps as if it's a treasure map.
Yeah.
You're trying to like see which direction you're pointed. It's all
Nothing
a
makes
mess.
The most seasoned New York. It can make even the most seasoned New Yorker feel like it
can break you.
Are not here. Are not from here.
Bunch of tourist losers we are.
I was looking for a Starbucks. I was literally looking up. Like, I have no idea. I had no idea where I was going.
It is such a weird part of town. And admittedly, I was late today. I'm the jerk.
It's okay.
I feel like I ruined the whole energy of us taping here at Spotify.
No, it's great. We did a little Spotify tour. I mean, they have some great snacks here.
Listen, I will say.
Did you see the snack?
I saw
room?
everything, and you have a moment, and I said this to Sarah, and I don't know if she took it right or wrong.
Sarah is our representative at Spotify.
Yeah, I don't know if I insulted her, but I go, I don't know if we're rich or poor. Like
at Spotify?
Right. Like I was like, because I'm looking around, I'm like, this is like Elysium. Like everyone here is like happy.
It's a compound.
It's a compound. It's like beautiful. It's like, are we billionaires? And then you're like, I'm not doing well, like, so like,
well,
like what am I? I'm trash, and everyone here is like clean and hip, and
they got a 9 to 5, unlike
and health insurance. They all look. I'm like, can someone look at my teeth? I don't have dental. Like, I don't know. I felt it was.
There might be a room where that's a perk.
Literally, yeah. I had this weird feeling come over me, and then I was checking in, and I'm in a rush, and then like, all you want to do is not be late when you're late, and I'm like checking in
every minute. You're like
every second.
I'm later,
and you're getting angrier, and they have this check-in board, and it was like. And it was like, put in your name. So I put in my name. And it says, who's your contact? And I'm texting you guys. I'm like, who the fuck are we here to see? And then I put in the contact.
Why don't you just go to the desk?
I did, but there's the iPad. Then it's like, what do you identify as? I'm like, let me in the fucking building. What do I identify as? I'm a fucking idiot. I'm late. I identify as late. I'm a loser. I'm not here on time. I feel bad. Everyone waited a half hour for me.
I have to say though, it is funny to watch you. Like, I would pay money to see you like one day in the life of like 9 to 5 corporate guy. I don't think you could do it.
No, I can't.
I don't think you could do it. I've seen you with calendar invitations. It's not pretty.
No.
This is not like where you were born to be. Like,
no.
I want to see like what's the sliding doors episode, but like if you stayed in insurance.
I don't. Yeah, I am just Someone said to me, they're like, things happen to you. They're like, I can't even believe it's happening to you. Like maybe I'm just doing life wrong.
Like, give me an example.
I was on a flight the other day. An ex-girlfriend and her whole family was on the flight.
Yes, that was an amazing thing to vicariously.
And I'm texting you. I'm like, oh my God, what do I do? And they're walking through the airport. I'm walking slower in the airport. Like, if you saw a video of me, like it was a Curb episode. Like, I'm walking as slow as possible.
They catch you.
They're going slow. I'm trying to like stay back, and it's all out of like, again, I'm not like avoiding. I said hellos. It's not like I didn't, but like,
I mean, you're on a confined.
There's only one door out of the LaGuardia,
and you're on for the whole flight.
There's only one flight, 6 rows back from the whole mishbucha. And I was telling someone the story, and they were like, "What? How does this always happen?"
Well, you fly all the time, so it's like the likelihood that you see someone on a flight at some point is not that low.
Not crazy, but like an ex in the whole family.
Yeah, that's
like,
tough.
Hey,
but
everybody.
I mean, like, given the circumstances of where that person lives, I think that it's crazy, but it's not like unheard
Nothing's
of.
crazy.
Yeah.
That's what makes Curb a great show.
Right.
All his interactions are crazy, but how he got there. You go,
that makes sense.
I could see, that could happen in a world, you know, like so, like coming here to the office and looking around for where's Spotify,
right?
And the guy at the door is like, "You're not allowed in here." It's like I would know how that happened.
Well, now you know what it's like to not have TSA pre-check.
That's how today felt, yeah.
Kind of, because you go
What
to
do
the
you
airport.
identify as? I was like, are you fucking kidding me?
I mean,
I'm for the cause, but don't do this now.
Don't do this to me. Because like when you go to the airport, you know exactly what you're doing, right? You know which line to go in. And anyone who's not going as fast as you or doesn't have a sense of, this is where the Delta line is, this is where the security line is, get to the back of the boarding, whatever. Like you're judging them.
Oh, I want to face
probably
smush
you
them.
when you're
when I'm in an office building, they're like, get this ragamuffin out of the way.
Yeah, you're the person who thinks they're in like the aisles ABC, but they're in the other side of the fucking plane.
Right. Well, it's great to be here with you, Jordana.
Yes.
What else is going on? Are we talking about anything?
Do you want to jump right in?
Should we jump right in? I
Why
feel
not?
like
Thank you, Spotify, for having
Spotify.
us. You've got a great setup here. You should. But.
Oh, it's wonderful. Like I'll definitely take a little dance around the snack aisle just to see what's going on over there.
They've got some good, healthy snacks. I have to say.
They got
the
everything.
Perks, man. It's the perks, all about the perks.
The perks, man. We gotta make a new merch.
Yeah,
it's the perks, man.
I wish there was somewhere you could go to just like swipe for free Spotify.
I mean, that is the weirdest thing when you work with a company and then they send you a bill. You're like, you've been charged for Spotify, and you're like, well, didn't we? I thought we were cool.
Right.
Like I have that with like Netflix. I'm like paying for the Netflix while being on Netflix.
Well, if you want to subscribe to any Betches podcast, we'll comp you.
I'll take what I can get. What else is going on? Are we ready to go?
I'm ready
Jump
to
right
go.
in?
Let's do it.
I don't know.
How are you feeling?
I feel off. I came late, and
it's okay. We're all good. We got coffee. We got the tour.
Let's thank everyone for listening. Thank you guys.
Yes.
I also got shows. If you're in Raleigh, I'm coming to Raleigh. If you're Tarrytown, St. Louis, come to shows. JaredFree.com. Also, Australia is coming up.
Ooh, when is that?
February.
Wow, great time to get the fuck out of New York.
Right. I might call it the No Winter Tour.
Love it.
So
that's probably a great time to be there.
It's their summer.
There you go.
In February, in Australia, my birthday is the best day of the year.
That's true. Yeah, are you going to be there for your birthday?
Yes,
for your 40th.
I think for maybe.
Wow.
Yeah, the toilet
You're
goes
like,
the other way.
When is my birthday? I don't know.
I'm turning. I like that you are more up on 40. You and my mom. My mom does that. What are we going to do for your 40th?
Well,
I'm like, it's 6 months away. Shut the fuck up, bitch.
It is a woman. Like, it's funny. Like, you do feel like the dad in any family, like, he could forget his own birthday, but no woman would ever forget it.
Absolutely. Like,
if you told me your dad doesn't know when his birthday is, I would believe you.
If you say happy birthday, he'd be like, like it wouldn't be, we wouldn't sit on it for too long. Like his birthday, we did a party for him for his 65th, and that was like weird to
right. I remember?
Yeah. Like I went down there, and it was weird to like celebrate it, like. Like when we weren't all in sweats, like everyone was dressed up, and you're like, for you,
65th. Wow,
65,
yeah, pretty young.
Oh, my parents are young. Yeah,
How old's your dad?
They're both 66. So
oh wow, so they had you like
27,
26,
27. It's weird because I was thinking the other day, I was like, I have memories of when my dad turned 40.
Right.
Like, I have those memories. And it's like, man, I am now of the age where I have, the memories of, like, my dad was me. Do you know what I mean?
No,
like,
totally.
I
had a very similar experience when I went to my mom's for Rosh Hashanah. And my brother's bar mitzvah book, the laminated intensive bar mitzvah book was there.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm flipping through the pages, and I'm like this was from 1990 was his bar mitzvah. My brother's 12 years older than me.
Yeah.
And I'm looking through the book, and my mom in this book is a year younger than me, and she has 6 kids.
It's crazy. Crazy. But that's also like the premise of this podcast, if you think about it. Like, we're so hard on ourselves because we're comparing ourselves to the generation that brought us up.
Right.
But
they had nothing else to do.
Well, that's the thing. There's no comparison at all. Like, the idea that we're comparing your mom, my dad, my mom, dating.
Right.
Like, going to them being like the fact that they insert themselves into this conversation.
They don't know anything. Yeah.
Get the fuck out of here. You're talking about the Stone Age. Like, the idea that you'd be like someone at home is sitting there being like, I don't know if I should text them back. And their mom is like, well, when I was, and it's like,
shut up,
bitch. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about. What do you mean when you were? You had a little black book.
Is that how your Rosh Hashanah went?
That was my Rosh. Shut up, bitch.
It's Dad's birthday.
Pass the challah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So no, I think about that often, like, because this podcast, like, okay, we are gonna have a discussion of things that like would literally be another language to like your mom and dad, maybe, like,
right. Well,
unless
it's totally
they're divorced,
different world.
and it's totally different.
Right.
So like, the idea that like, your mom had 6 kids.
And 34 years old.
34. And like, your mom is probably like, well, what, asking you questions when you were dating. It's like, what kind of question? What do you?
Yeah. What? You don't know anything. You have a 13-year-old at 34 years old.
Right.
You joking?
You know nothing. And then she looks at you. She's like, you know nothing. Right. I have a 13-year-old. I'm an adult.
Yeah.
You're going to like, Greece.
Right. You're drinking in big cities across Europe.
Right. What do you know?
Right.
Yeah, my parents probably look at me like, look at this fucking idiot.
It's like that meme. It's like, where it's like the guy sends the like, what are you doing tonight text. And the woman's like, bro, go start a family.
Yeah, right.
Like, what do you mean?
What are you doing? Yeah. That's me. I'm the bro. Yo, bro, go start. Yeah.
Go start a family.
All right, what are we talking about today?
Let's
send in your emails, uup@betches.com.
Or a voicemail. What's our voicemail number? No one sends us voicemails. It's very hurtful.
No one. You never call.
Candace, what's our voicemail number? There's a contact button on the Instagram. You can
use the contact button. It can get you the number.
Do I look a little yellow compared to you?
You do look a little yellow. I'm not going to.
Right?
There's something.
On the bottom left, I look.
212-589-8903. Call us, beep us.
I gotta switch out my bronzer.
You need us. Yeah, one of the cameras.
Looks like I'm dying.
It does. It really. It looks like you died and came back to life.
I don't know if it would look as yellow if it wasn't compared to you. You look like a normal skin tone.
Right. I've been talking about how great these cameras are since the minute I got in here. And I'm only looking at me. This is the first I've even noticed you're in the room.
Same. I mean, it's like whenever you look at a picture and you're like, this is a great picture, and the other person's like, eyes are closed and they're
like, what are you talking about? Yeah.
All right, we'll see how it comes out.
Yeah, we can change it in post.
Filter this shit.
So what are we talking about today?
All right, we're talking about being insulted on the apps.
Oof. Consider yourself heard. Okay, because I get insulted on the apps whenever I've been on. Lately, I had this complaint.
Well, you're a comedian, so I would expect it for you. Because someone's trying to
I guess. It's like trying to spar with me, I guess.
They think that's what you want.
Right. I don't understand it at all. But I understand it, but I don't,
you don't like it.
I don't like it.
Okay. All right, let me read the email. Ready?
Let's hear it.
All right. Hi, J&J, all the feathers, I'll jump right in. I've had something weird happen to me 4 times now on dating apps where men will match with me, a 37-year-old female, only to provide a criticism in their opening lines.
I hate these people, and I know
it's good to know they're not just women, though.
No,
right?
it's not just women, and I think this is genderless. I think this is like uncomfortable conversations. Everyone's trying. You know, I think there's this thing of like you don't want to just be. You
want to be remembered,
right? And you come too hard, and this happens to everybody. Like the idea that like, so I'm just saying this person, like what you're saying, like this email. I completely understand why they're like, what the fuck?
Right.
Know, like,
well, here's what people don't understand. I think that we understand more being in the comedy world, right? Is that if you're going to be mean, you have to be really funny.
Right.
Otherwise, it's just mean and it doesn't serve any purpose.
Be funnier than mean.
I would, if someone did an opening line that was like kind of mean, but really on point, like really funny, I would laugh. Right. I would be into it.
But that's the equivalent of hitting a bullseye. And the thing is, sometimes with jokes especially, you got to know when to leave it on the table. You know, you got to know when the time and place is. And, like...
It's risky.
You're taking a risk. So, you know, it is funny. I have this, like, two-sided... I have both sides of the coin. I'm the idiot who makes the wrong joke.
Right.
I'm also the person who's writing in being like, fuck this person with their stupid joke. You know, like, You know, I'm talking out of both sides of my mouth a little bit, but like I agree. You know, we talk all the time. Should we leave something in versus, you know, cutting it out of the show? Is it worth, you know, was it funny enough to be worth it?
Right.
Like,
and is that my wife?
Is that my
was apparently.
We did 20 minutes of dead wife jokes on an episode, and I did get a message from someone who was like, a new low for you. Like, and I don't think they were a fan to begin with, to be honest. Like, they're probably
if they're saying a new low, that means they've been tracking your lows.
Right. So, yeah, I don't think they're like cheering for me.
Yes.
And I see that message, and you know, I do go, oh, I'm sorry I messed up that person's day in whatever way I did. But then the amount of messages we got that were like, is that my wife? Like. That made me so happy.
It was more yes than no. But again, that was risky, right?
Right.
So like there is a sense I left that episode and I was like, this was funny. I'm not sure how it will be taken. But that you kind of have to for a really good joke, you kind of have to like you have to take the risk. That's why it's a risk.
Right. It's a risk.
It's like if you're in we're in comedy. If you're in fashion, you go, you know, you wear a weird hat.
Right.
You got to feel it's a risk, right? And that person who's in fashion is like, this is a risk. I think the positive outcome of wearing this fucking hat is going to be, is going to put me on, you know, it's going to put me on the,
it's a net positive.
Yes, it's a net positive. And it's going to do better for me as a risk taker in this field.
Fashion's a great place to like talk about because when you see someone who's like dressed specifically them, you know, I have a lot of respect for that, and then I see that and I go, I have some envy that they like can like
the confidence.
Well,
that's the same thing with a joke, though.
Totally the same.
You tell a joke that's a risky joke,
and it works. It takes confidence, and sometimes you have to be like. Sometimes you see, you know, some jokes are for only a portion of the room, and you're like, whoever gets this, like, I'm kind of like,
it's a little niche.
I like them more. Right. And like the person that like, you know, this person who's coming at you with an insult. And again, there's a fine line between that's funny and that's an insult. And this person that, you know, I guess respect for the asshole on a dating app a little bit. Like here's where I give them respect is like, they're not looking to connect with everybody, which is kind of the goal of a dating app. Like you're looking to connect with people you connect with, but again, you can miss.
You've got to be self-aware enough to know if it's good enough.
Right. And listen, if you open with a joke, I think that's like way more of a risk because you don't even know who you're dealing with yet.
Right.
You don't even know like what the and
sense of humor of that person is, how likely they are to be insulted.
And it's like I just think a lot of people go, I don't want to be the how was your weekend person.
Right, which I get. But there's an in between though.
There's totally an in between. I you know, this is where this conversation is like a fun conversation because some people go, I like to roast. I'm a big roaster. And I'm like, well, you fucking suck at it. Right. You have no charm.
Yeah, that's fine.
You can't pull it off.
Right. If you're good at it, then great. Just doing it doesn't, it's like.
Right. We can all roast.
Right.
Some people just do it better.
Agreed. All right. Well, she says 3 of these instances were to criticize my form in the gym.
Yeah, like to me, I hear that and I go, okay, these guys are losers.
Right.
In my mind. But
like what in their mind though, are they like, this is gonna work? She's gonna love that I know what I'm doing in the gym, even though she doesn't? Like,
I
what's
don't
going
know.
through their...
I actually, when someone does this, I'm on the side of like they're insecure. I don't know. Like this teaching thing, like
right.
I think
they're trying to prove that they
go to the gym,
this.
but I think they're wrong. Like if I was to like grade it, I'd be like, you failed.
Right.
When you're critiquing gym stuff on a dating app, I think you've like if I could pull that person aside, but go on. I keep interrupting. I'm sorry.
Okay. For clarification, I have one video a past trainer took of me working out for his social media. I admittedly have used it for my dating profile to show that working out is a big part of my life. Nowhere, however, do I ever profess to be an athlete, training for anything, or someone who knows anything about working out. I think even if she did, that would be rude. But
right. No, it's
important. What happens is the men will match me and then send an opening line telling me how I'm not holding something right, have bad form, or don't know what I'm doing. They have all outright told me I need a trainer. The other instance was when a guy said to me, has anyone ever told you that you look like a Walmart Daisy Edgar Jones? That's fucking rude.
Daisy Edgar Jones?
We had her on our podcast. You keep forgetting who she is. We had her on our podcast.
She's
in Twisters.
Oh,
we had her on with Sebastian Stan.
You know why I forget?
There was a loud noise.
Because there was an airplane engine playing in the background.
It's just funny. It's the second time you've forgotten her.
Second time I've forgotten her. No. And in the second time I've gone, oh, that's the most beautiful woman I've ever seen.
Yes.
Like I like.
She kind of does have a look of like most beautiful woman ever seen, but I might forget.
Right. Right. Like. She's like, yeah.
in a positive way.
And I've seen her on like interviews and red carpets, and I'm like, oh my God, she has like captured me in such a way. But I will always forget that
she has like on. She does have a girl next door kind of look, which I guess maybe could be. But her it is just funny that it's the second time you're like, who's that? Right. She was on the show.
But also, she was on with Sebastian Stan, who I was more of a fan of.
I remember because I had seen Normal People, which is a show that she started in like in the beginning of her. I would say more the beginning of her career when she started to get big. So I'd already seen that show, so I was already a fan. So I remember her pretty well.
I remember you were excited for her, and I was like, who cares about her? We have the Winter Soldier on. Like,
I didn't know who that.
Right.
I didn't really know who he was.
Yeah, and he was. I remember and so when we taped, it was on Zoom, and literally for some reason, her Zoom just kept going. Like and. If you think that what I just did is annoying, if you're listening and going,
yeah, to just kind of keep going. We couldn't fix it.
Couldn't fix it. It was awful.
And they had limited time because they're on like a press junket.
They were like, "Okay, you're on," and we're like, So
she was muted a large part of the time.
Yes.
Because of that.
So I'm sorry, Daisy.
Anyway, someone told her that she looks like a Walmart Daisy Edgar Jones. Not nice.
Here's the thing: they think that's a compliment. As sad as that is.
Calling someone Walmart anything, I think, is not a compliment.
Well, it's like one of those, like, it's like a neg, but it's also like...
It's definitely a neg. It's like saying you look like a worse version of this person. You look like this person, but worse.
I know, but they're also saying that person's beautiful. You know, like,
and you look like a worse-looking version of this person.
I'm taking you inside the mind of a murderer, okay?
I would never say someone looked like a Walmart version of something behind their back, unless I was behind their back.
Right. Or while yelling at The Bachelor, which I've done. Okay.
I tried to give the guy the benefit of the doubt and responded playfully and jokingly, showing them that I can take a roasting, assuming it was roasting. However, much to my surprise, the men would just double down. There were no compliments, no niceties, and they never asked me out. When I realized they were actually just being a dick, I would unmatch. I know that in any relationship, especially early flirting stages, there can be a certain degree of negging, but I'm genuinely flabbergasted each time they match me just to insult me with no plan to show interest. Let me know your thoughts. P.S. I have a trainer, even though I guess it doesn't show. Sincerely, the bar is officially subterranean batch.
Let me just assure this emailer, they are heard.
Yes.
Because this is what was noticeable about the atmosphere of being on the apps in my most recent download was this punchiness that was going on there.
People are on edge.
People are on edge. People are really like looking to get the first, what do they say when you go to jail? Punch the biggest guy in the yard.
I didn't know this. Good to know.
That's kind of what it felt like people were doing. people. I'm saying this from the male side, and maybe because I did have written that I was a comedian, but I'm saying it happens in all
People
ways.
are coming in hot.
Coming in hot. So, like, and I do agree with this person. Like, there's a point where it's like, listen, I can take the roast, but, like, put the knives down. You know, like, let's have a real
out.
Right,
yeah.
like at some point we have to be real people, you know,
Right.
like, and some people don't know how to let that go, especially men, you know, especially men where a lot of your ego is built on I'm funny, I know the joke. Like, listen, I'm speaking to this because especially as a comedian, male comedian, straight, with a mostly female following of people who come out to your shows, I get the boyfriends that get dragged along. So I get sometimes the energy that maybe women get, I think. Like, if I'm to, like, try and let you know I hear you, like, I get kind of like the guy who's telling me what's funny, who the comedians that they know. Like, I've seen this ego on display, so I understand what's going on here a little bit.
And I don't know if she's in New York, but I do think it is a little bit more probably of a New York thing.
Right.
Where people are always kind of trying to be the quickest person in the room. There's like a tough, hard energy here. And it's not like the sweetest city.
No. And the other problem she has, and this is the biggest problem on a dating app, is you gotta, it's never worth it to be negative. No one ever cares about your side. Like, you
might as well just leave the conversation if you're going to do
You're never going to teach this guy. Like, you got to leave. Like, and it's funny because in their email, they're like, I just try to, like, show I can take a roast. It's like, well, you don't have to.
Yeah, just don't speak to them.
Right. Like, we can leave this conversation.
You don't like that. Right.
If anything, to look at it, you know, if you change your perspective, it's a positive. Okay, douchebag. I'm out. I don't need anything else.
You found out immediately.
Right. So, like, that's a positive way of looking. And I know it's hard to look at it that way because, again, it is so hard when you're put in the position of, like, being the real one on a dating app. Like, like, this person's like, well, I'm just having fun. I'm just roasting you. Like, they're always right.
Right.
It's so annoying.
Well, that's why the beauty of a dating app is you don't have to, like, you're not at the date.
Right.
You can just leave.
Right. I've just
next.
Yes. And that's the only way to look at this. Like, and it is happening. Like,
and there's so many people on the apps that, like, it's almost great when you can find a reason to eliminate someone.
Absolutely. And, like, should you change? You know, you have the workout pictures, all that stuff. I don't think you need to change that. I think it's good that you're like, I have this picture that shows it's a big part of my life. Like, your perspective is correct.
Right.
Like, to have the workout thing, like, to say, like, your form. Like, I had a guy, I was at the gym and I was doing a HIIT workout, like, on my phone.
Yeah.
And a trainer, I'm, like, in the middle of it and I just finished, like, a set and I'm, like, you know, keeled over, breathing heavily. And this trainer came out to me and you could tell he was, like, trying to, like, help and drum up business. He's probably trying to, like, oh, maybe I could be his trainer.
This is his method.
Right. And he came over to me and he was like, hey, man. And, like, I had my headphones on. I'm in the middle of this thing. I'm like, and he comes over. He goes, hey, man. I go, no, don't want it. No, I'm sorry.
You go like
it
this?
was headphone. No. It was as if he was like a homeless guy asking for money.
You think he was gonna? You think that's what he was gonna do?
Whatever he was gonna do, and I felt bad about it. Like, I was like,
what if he was gonna tell you that, like, your fly was down?
I wouldn't care. I just get away from it.
Okay.
I want nothing to do with it.
Well, that's the New York energy.
Right. This guy just moved here from Iowa. He's like, maybe I can have a new client.
Make a new friend at the gym.
No. And I literally, like, swiped him away. And I felt bad, but I was, like, annoyed, too, because I'm like, dude, I'm in the middle.
I've got headphones.
Right. Like, I'm in the middle of dating here. I don't need the help of my form.
Right.
Fuck off.
Yeah. I think that's what, again, if the show teaches you anything, you see that, you get it. You get an opening line that you don't like. That's you know what I mean? We always talk about how, like, there's so many options. Everyone feels disposable, right? But on the other end of that, you can dispose people.
Yes.
Because there's so many options. So it sucks that you feel disposable, but also use the other side of the coin to your advantage. Dispose.
The yin and the yang of dating.
Right.
I may be disposed of, but I can do some disposing.
Yes, I don't like your opening line. Next.
And I think this is the problem with, like, you know, if, you know, the whole emotional masturbation of a profile. Because you'll see a profile and you'll go, my type, they've got nice things written. I could see myself with them.
Could happen.
It could, and then they come in. They're like, "Nice form, fatty," and you're like, "Oh,
no.
Okay. I guess I can take a joke." And you try to like roll with it because you've already made.
You're already there.
You're already there. We've matched. I do like their vibe. And again, this happens on dating apps. It's a mind fuck.
Mm.
You gotta. I would say, if they speak like an asshole, you can be assured they're an asshole.
Right. The way it begins is the way it ends.
Right.
As Robert Herjavec says on Shark Tank.
Let's go to some awkward encounters. You ready?
Let's do it.
Long time listener, first time writing in. I have a double awkward encounter where I thought it was over, then it came back to haunt me a month later.
Double ox.
Double ox. For context, I'm 25, female, live in NYC, and I'm single and dating on the apps. A month ago, I went on 2 dates with a guy from Hinge. Let's call him Mark. Mark was a bit nerdy and awkward, but in an endearing way. On our first date, we went to a museum and park. While we were sitting at the park, he interrupted me mid-conversation with the classic man kissing you fish face.
Oh, no.
Is that a real thing? She writes, if you know, you know. So he's like leaning in with a kiss?
Like, people do that?
It's like Leo.
Mid-sentence? Right? Mid-sentence? That's not good.
I don't know. In hindsight, the ick was coming on, but I didn't know it yet. I thought we had a nice time, so we went on a second date a few days later. We met at a bar in my neighborhood. Unfortunately, as soon as I saw him, the ick was in full force. He was wearing a T-shirt and basketball shorts.
Basketball shorts on a date?
Yeah.
Second date?
We were just going to a sports bar, nothing fancy, but the lack of effort really threw me, especially since I had gotten dolled up in my boobiest shirt.
I want to, I'm sorry to interrupt. I feel like that is a thing with dating. If you show up and you're like better dressed the person,
yeah,
it does feel weird.
Well, it's like, hey, let's do coffee instead of drinks. It's like they've downgraded the date based on their attire. Is that what it is?
Kind of, but it's like even if you show up to a bar and the other person's wearing a T-shirt and you've put a lot of effort.
Shirt.
Yeah, you put a lot of effort into the look. It does feel like a little annoying.
Yeah, that's tough for a guy because it's suit or nothing. But like you can
button down.
I could wear a button down. I wear a T-shirt and jeans, and I think
fine.
It looks dressed up. But like I could see how someone would go, T-shirt and jeans, this fucking slob.
I think T-shirt and jeans, but basketball shorts.
That's a real. Yeah, you haven't really tried.
Flip flops.
Especially since I gotten dolled up in my boobiest shirt. We had 2 drinks, and I said I should head out. We were taking the train in opposite directions, and I was in a bit of a rush to avoid prolonged makeout with him. I pecked him on the lips and said goodbye. I ran to the train platform. As soon as I did, I realized we had gotten on the trains going in the wrong direction. I texted him to tell him, and he said thank you, and that he was getting on the right train now. As my train was pulling up, I heard someone yell my name. I look up, and Mark is running towards me. I feel like I didn't get a proper... I feel like I didn't give you a proper goodbye. I'm like, well, the proper goodbye is goodbye. Yeah.
Didn't he kiss her?
A peck on the lips. He grabbed me and kissed me passionately while I tried to wriggle away to make my train. Okay, good night, I yelped as I ran away. If this was my dream guy, this probably would have been romantic. He got on the right train just to get back off again to kiss me, then went to wait for the train again. That's a risky move with the MTA. So he got on the right train just to get back off again to kiss me, then went to wait for the train again. That's
so he knew
weird.
She was going the wrong way?
I guess.
So he knew she was going the wrong way, got on with her, like, secretly, and then got off at the same... That's weird.
It's a lot of effort for
You know what
a
would be
kiss.
more romantic? Telling the person they're going the wrong way.
Hey,
right?
you're going the wrong way. Yeah,
I think that would be like a hotter thing to do.
Yeah, but since I'd already gotten the ick, it was so awkward. I don't think he even noticed how awkward it was because he kept texting me the next day, asked to hang out again. I sent the standard, didn't feel a connection, but enjoyed getting to know you text, and we ended on good terms. A month later, I go on a date with another Hinge guy. We get dinner, conversation is good, and it's going well. We get to talking about roommates, and he starts telling me about his. He's describing his roommate's job, and it was super unique. It's in a super unique industry that I had heard somewhere else. The wheels start turning in my head, and I register this guy saying he met his roommate in college, a college that also sounds familiar. I had no idea this was the right move, but I couldn't help myself. I asked, is your roommate's name Mark? Yes. I went on a date with him. Oh, good to know. Good to know. I nervously laughed for several minutes and tried to change the subject. He went to the bathroom, came back to pick up the tab, walked me to the subway, then we never spoke again. I have no idea if his roommate told him anything about me, but I'm assuming not, since guys don't really debrief dates like girls do.
Is that true?
If I heard on the date I went out with someone my roommate went out, I would say something.
Right.
I would definitely check in with him. It's possible he had no, I'm pretty sure the guy on the next date didn't know about, the subway guy.
Yeah.
But after that, they definitely talked about
Yeah, I'm sure he texted him as he was leaving.
Right.
Yeah.
I go on less than 10 dating apps, dates a year, and these dates happen in a span of a month. What the hell are the chances I would end up dating roommates? Imagine I didn't realize and ended up going home with the second guy. Just run into train platform makeout guy in his apartment. Thanks. Doubly awkward bitch. What do we think?
This is funny. I don't think it had anything to do with dating the roommate, going on a date with the roommate. The fact that she didn't hear from the guy again. The second guy.
No.
I think that's a coincidence.
Yeah, I don't think he he's like, that's my girl, and then he backed away. Yeah,
I think he just didn't want a second date.
Right. Yeah, but I mean, it is, to me, this is again, to go back to how things happen to you, like seeing an ex on a flight.
Yeah.
It's wild, and it's also not wild.
Yeah.
Like the fact that they're roommates. You have a type. They're probably very similar.
Say that, right. Like you go for a certain kind of guy, live in a certain area.
Certain
jobs, they're roommates
because
they're similar. You date them both because you're similar to both of them.
Right. Like you can do the math on this.
Right.
But it is weird to it's weird for someone to go, oh, you went on a date with my roommate. Noted. And say nothing else.
Yeah.
Can we have some fun with this topic a little bit?
Right. No, I totally agree. I mean, I also think what do you think of the makeout in the platform?
I'm okay with it. I think with guy who's a little awkward on the date, I think he's looking to hit numbers. I think the reason he comes back is I got to make sure this was a good date. I sealed with a kiss,
right.
I got to make sure that I did a good job on this date and somehow getting the kiss. And I don't know how bad this sounds, but achieving the kiss means that you did everything you could.
Okay.
So it's
interesting.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I would think because for him to run back,
no regrets.
Right, no regrets, and I just want to know that I won the date. I think some people, especially when they're not doing well on a date, they want to know that they've won it.
Or even if they don't get another date because of whatever they did.
Well, it must have fizzled. Do you know what I mean? I to me, if I'm this guy, we go on a date.
You wear your best basketball shorts.
I'm dressed, coming straight from pickup. I'm why not just text her, hey, I had a great time and I would love to do that again? Why get off, have this whole plan to get on a train and make out? You must have some sort of it's a little, we have to admit to we all have issues. So it's it's some people need to close the tab.
Okay.
On the browser.
I see
and that's kind of how this feels to me, where you'd run back and need a kiss. You've really done a lot for a little.
Right. I mean, I don't want to make out with anyone on a subway platform.
No?
No.
Nothing New Yorky and romantic about that to you?
No, taking the subway to me in first 3 dates is not romantic. Or
You've missed.
Maybe on date 12.
Right.
For me, the first 3 dates, I don't think the subway is sexy.
Mm.
We're taking the subway together somewhere. Not
sure.
hot.
Well, that's tough. Subway together.
Because
it's all not planned on the date. This is not date.
Uber together.
Right.
You get in an Uber, you drop. It's that I would be more open to the makeout if it was okay, I'm gonna Uber myself home and then it'll drop you off for one of those things.
What about out of New York? If someone picked you up for a date, hey, I'll pick you up at 8.
Not a first date.
Not a first date. You'd rather get there on your own.
Yeah, I think I don't want to be in a car with someone I don't know anything about. If I'd met them before, maybe, or if we had mutual friends, maybe.
Right.
I don't think someone on an app, I wouldn't get in their car without meeting them.
I've picked up people for a date, and it is weird because you're it hasn't officially begun yet. You're we're having this is all car conversation.
Do you go knock on the door?
Right.
Ask the parents.
Nice to meet you. Good to see you. Yeah.
Because that would be also tough because you would know within the first if you've never seen them before, you kind of. I think this is different for women than men. I think men are like more like if you like the pictures, the looks aren't going to be a thing. Where I think for women, it's more about like the vibe, and you'd know in the first 5 minutes whether you're into it or not. And so I wouldn't want to get in the car with someone that I knew potentially just like I wasn't going to be.
Well, it's a good message to men. Like, there's no coming back from like if you fuck up the car ride. Like, and it's not really a very glowing position to be put in. Like, you know, you driving.
You can't look at them. You're
right.
Like,
you're at the side angle.
Yeah.
Like, this isn't like a good way to like meet someone.
I think first date, meet at the place.
Yeah.
To me, that's just
it's a good policy. Meet me there at 8.
Yeah. It's safer, I think.
Right. Ubers, and we can separate. If this doesn't go well, we can go in our own direction.
Right. But yeah, I wouldn't think it was so romantic for someone to try to make out with me on the subway platform after they let me go the wrong way, personally.
Have fun going north.
Right.
This date's going south.
All right, let's do another
email.
J&J, longtime listener, subscriber, fan of all things You Up in the J-Train universe. My friends and I saw Jared's family set last fall and laughed the whole time.
Thank you.
My fiancé and I have been together for 4 years and engaged for 5 months. Jealousy has never been an issue in our relationship. However, I have my own insecurities about him finding someone else or being less attracted to me, as I have gained quite a bit of weight over the course of our relationship. Happy weight, I guess, LOL. We've both decided that for our health, we should start making better choices. It's been nice to do together, but his progress has been so much faster than mine. His weight loss is visible, while mine is more in the I feel better but don't look better yet stage. Yesterday, my fiancé told me that he had gotten a compliment on his looks from a girl at work who noticed his weight loss and said, "You look good." This really shook me and sent me into a very insecure and jealous place. I told him I didn't like hearing that, and I could tell he realized he may have made a mistake by sharing, but I'm also torn. Is a compliment like this something that should just never be told to your partner? Jordana, how would it make you feel? Jared, when a man hears this kind of compliment, is the first thought, that girl would have sex with me? Cool. Even if that man is in a relationship? Would love your takes. Signed, why do I want to punch that girl in the face? I like that she's like, jealousy has never been an issue, but I would like to punch a woman who complimented my boyfriend in the face.
You look good. That's the only that's the compliment.
Right. It wasn't
what is
like
it,
you
the guy who
sexy.
killed his wife?
Yeah.
Is that my wife?
Is that my wife?
Hey, looking good. It's like it's so funny. I appreciate this email.
It's a great email.
I mean, she's kind of missing where this comes from. Like, if you really want to get empathetic to him,
what do you think is his mindset?
I can tell you,
her?
I know exactly. To me, I know exactly what happened. They're on this weight loss journey together. So like, he's kind of like, again,
right. Maybe he's not thinking about it in terms of like, I'm doing so much better at this than her.
Right. Again, like what happened here is on a spectrum. The nicest, most loving way I can look at it of your fiance of however many months that is wanting to marry you is like you guys are doing this shredding for the wedding thing. Right. Which is what you're doing.
Sounds like it. Yeah.
It sounds like it. And you are doing this together, and then he gets a compliment, and it's like kind of like we are getting a compliment. Like that's the sweetest way I can look at it, because you go, we're doing this together. Someone said I look good. Like, hey, it's working. The thing we're doing.
I look good. You're marrying me.
Right.
So
this is
getting
good
a better
for us.
product.
Yeah, we're killing it.
Right.
And I don't think, when she says like his is showing and mine's not, I don't think he's thinking of it that way. Like I don't think anyone is like, I don't think he's going, look at how hot I'm getting.
Right.
And this fucking loser I'm with is really not making any strides at all. I think that's, you're living in the key of me, so to speak. Like, you know, and he is too.
She's projecting her own insecurity onto like hearing about this thing.
Right.
Would I have preferred that a man said it to him? Probably, but
right.
Fine.
Because I don't think he's sharing it with you to let you know, like, hey, women are taking notice, bitch.
I think it's a good thing that he shared it, because it'd be almost weirder if it's like he has this flirty thing with this woman at work and he's not telling you about it.
Right. I think this is like this is very childlike. It's working.
Right.
You know, like,
I mean, it depends how I assume he said it like that.
Right.
Like, yeah.
Hey,
like,
someone at work noticed it. They said it looked good.
I guess what we're doing is working.
Right. And I don't know if he would understand. And you hear this a lot. This is like something that comes out, like men, take one day off of beer and then they've lost like 30 pounds, and then their girlfriend is like
right.
salads for a month, and they're like upset that they're not getting the
Definitely
same results.
had that experience, yeah.
So this is something that's been said time and time again. So like this makes sense, but I also make sense that he wouldn't like be totally in tune with how you're feeling
right
about the process, which is also now reflecting on how you receive like the news of this compliment.
Right. I think if he said this woman at work was like, "You look sexy," like I think that would be different.
Right.
You look good. Probably it seems like tied to the weight loss. He's talking about someone not necessarily. Do you think he thinks this woman wants to have sex with him?
No, I think he's like I
think if he thought that, he wouldn't tell her.
Right. No.
I'm saying he wouldn't tell her like in like the like you notice my weight loss kind of way.
Right, and it would be the worst version of him is like him motivating you. Mm-hmm. Oh, women are noticing. You better pick it up. You know, like I don't think that's what's happening.
Right. That was the worst thing that came to my mind. Like he's telling her to give her a hint that like she should try harder because it's working for him.
Right. That'd be horrible. And also like the idea that like any woman compliments me, I'm like, sorry, can't suck my dick. You know, like
what are you, Steven from Love Is Blind.
Have we gotten that far yet? Is it out?
I think it's out.
Okay.
It's out, yeah.
Steven from Love Is Blind is so disgusting.
We'll get into that on a separate episode.
You can watch on YouTube. Yeah. So, what do you think of like reporting compliments at all in a relationship? Like,
that's a good question because
yeah.
I've thought about that too. Like reporting compliments, reporting getting hit on, reporting any of that stuff. I don't think it's necessary personally. Like, I don't think you need to report every compliment that's given to you.
Mm-hmm.
Have I done it? I've reported. I remember I was at a bar with Mike, and I was like, he was sitting, and was like getting drinks, and someone had hit on me, even though I had an engagement ring on at the time. And I went back and I told him because it was like right there, and it was like funny, and I was like, "What do you think? What do you think?"
Still got it.
Just so you know. I don't think it matters. I think in a healthy relationship to like playfully tell someone that you got hit on is.
I think you have
fine.
to know you're getting hit on.
Yeah.
I think it can't be like. I think the difference. It can't be like, hey, nice shirt. Oh, that guy was trying to fuck me today. Like, you'd be like, well, is that what your brain goes? Like, you know, I think it has to be like the story you just told is the perfect example of like, can you believe what just happened? This guy came over, he saw my ring, he didn't even care. He's like, trying to hit on me. That's kind of like sexy and fun and like funny.
Right. He's like at the bar with me.
You have to know.
Right. The context matters.
Totally matters. But like, I do think like sometimes if you're like, well, this, like, it's a step above this one where it's like my friend, you know, my work wife was telling me how big my arms look from all the working out we're doing. You'd be like, why are you saying it? What?
Right.
Like,
yeah,
well, what do you mean?
Saying.
And they're like, well, she just like saw my arms. She goes, they look big. And you're like, well, that's not, maybe they just noticed. Like, it has to be so.
It has to be subtle too, because I think if it feels like it's done to make the other person jealous, that's icky.
Totally. Like, because there's a
like,
fine.
Look how hot everyone. That's me is insecure.
Totally. There's a fine line between like, here's a funny story about that's kind of a compliment to me, but also like it's funny.
Right.
And here's a funny story to let you know that like I'm a fuckable person.
Right. And you should watch your
right. Right. I
think totally context.
Totally, yeah. Because they're reporting, knowing that you're with a wanted person is hot.
Yeah.
Like, there is something to that.
Agreed. But it's hotter when you're reporting the compliment to your partner about them than the other way around.
Well, right. Like,
yeah.
I've been in a relationship where someone's like, that person was hitting on you. And I'm like, no.
Yeah, like that's the ideal way that it's done.
Right. And I was always being honest where I'm like, I didn't see that. And they're like, I did. And you could tell that they're like a little turned on by it.
Totally. I think that's like one of the hotter things is having someone else like seeing, obviously not them like responding to it.
Right.
But seeing someone else want the person you have, just like anything else, is kind of hot.
And that's where this all gets messy and hard because, you know, this person's like, there's, you know, what does my boyfriend think? It's like, well, this is a flavor. This is a vibe. This is a taste thing. Like, if he walked in, he was into the bedroom and he's like, everyone at the office is talking about my new hot bod. You'd be like, okay, idiot.
Right.
You know, like, what are you trying to say here?
Yeah.
If it's, hey, you're not going to, someone noticed, like, I'm losing weight. Like, I think that's a different thing.
Yeah. No, it totally depends the way he said it, the context, who's the person that said it? I'd like to know. Show me a picture. I also think it's like okay to like be a little like jealous in a funny way.
Sure. Who is this person?
Right.
I'm gonna punch this bitch in the face. Yeah.
Like to me that would be like kind of like if we were dating and you came home and you were like someone at work said like that I lost a lot of weight, I'd be like, who is she? Like I'll fucking kill her.
Walmart version of Daisy Edgar Jones.
In a joking way, like I've done that before too. I've been like, "Who is this?
Who is this bitch?" Yeah.
Like, I remember we went to a restaurant and the waitress kept calling Mike like babe, and I was like, "That bitch better watch her back."
And it's funny, like he might secretly be like, "Yeah, this is a nice moment for me."
Yeah,
watching these two cats spar.
That's what I'm saying. As long
over
as
the big dog.
That's exactly what he did. You know, Mike.
That's Mike.
And I think if it's done in a subtle class, it's all about doing it in a classy way.
Right. That's this podcast, the Classy Podcast. Let's play some games. You ready?
Let's do it.
UUP@Betches.com. We love a red flag or deal breaker. Okay, you ready?
You're ready.
J&J, thanks for all the laughs. I had an interesting scenario with a hookup I met on the apps. Once we finished hooking up and we're cleaning up, classy, this podcast.
Sounds like a crime scene.
Right.
Yeah.
I told the guy he could put the used condom, which was wrapped in tissue, in the trash can in my bathroom, which is lined. He insisted on taking it with him and saying something along the lines of, it's kind of gross. This felt odd to me in the moment, but I didn't feel like it was worth causing a scene. As I'm sitting here reflecting, this is feeling more and more odd. I knew for a fact he was going out to meet friends after.
A trophy.
What's that in your pocket? Oh, just a condom.
I thought someone might need some cum, just in case.
Well, gotta go. Flips it over his back, walks out. We hung out as we had talked about our plans together earlier in the day. Can you all help me crack the code of why a guy would want to take that with him? Have you heard of anything along these lines before? Thank you so much, a confused betch. What do you think? He takes the condom. I
think we've had this before, like a long time ago.
Yes.
I think he's scared of you using his sperm to impregnate yourself. I kind of think that is it.
As crazy an option as that is, it's an option. And I agree with you. I can't
see any other reason he would take it.
When he says it's gross, I guess that's an option where he's like, I don't want you to like have to look at this.
Put it in a tissue paper.
Right. But it proves how little men really know about how this all works. Like he's like,
I guess theoretically it would be possible if that was really her goal.
How?
It's always the poor guys who do that.
Right.
Who think
right. You think I want your, and listen, I am guilty of this type of ego. Like I'm not,
your poor grad student sperm.
Right. You think I want to take a guy who works in middle management.
Yes.
His sperm and inject it into myself?
I would understand if you were like an NBA player. You know?
Right, because there's,
If I was an NBA player, I might take the condom. Maybe. I was that paranoid. I still think it would be weird.
And it's known. Here's the thing as an NBA player, NBA, NFL, whatever sports player, your contract is known.
Right.
So that's the only, like, it's not like
I still think it would be absurd, but
it's absurd.
I would understand it more.
Right. You basically... this is an insane conversation, but you do have there's a bounty a little bit above your head of like, oh, they signed an $80 million contract, and I can take the sperm and inject it into me. But it's crazy. It's crazy to think of people that way. I do think as a society we've become more conspiratorial. We've become more like worried about our fellow man or woman, betraying us. Like it's the reason we see people with phones out taking camera videos, and you go, look, I just saw.
I mean, how could you not be when I get like 15 spam emails a week, like trying to lure me for fake jobs, social calls from people pretending to be from Chase Bank.
Right, right. And so why,
Yeah.
so I can understand how it seeps into these relationships and you become this like really like, there's a word I'm looking paranoid
Yeah.
person. But it is weird. I mean, to go the day with a used condom in your pocket is bizarre. Like, oh, let me pay for the tab. Oops.
Right. It's kind of conceited.
Oh, yeah. Total ego narcissism.
Right.
Like, you think I had this happen.
You've done it?
No, not this. I've had, where a woman will be like, I'll be like, I don't want to have sex. Like, and they're like, well, what's the problem? Have you not been tested? I'm like, I was younger and I was like, babies. And they're like, you think I want your baby? And I'm like, never thought of it that way. But
that part's different though, because it's like, you're just saying like, I don't want to have unprotected sex because I'm scared of pregnancy. You're not like saying I'm scared you're going to trap me into.
Sure, but I could understand how it would be taken that way. Mm-hmm. Where and then the person even said it. They're like, I don't want your fucking baby. You're like, I'm not having a baby. And you go, I guess I didn't think of it that way. But I also don't have control over the matter. I think like a lot of male paranoia in this space is lack of control.
Yeah. Would you take a male birth control pill?
I wouldn't be against it. It depends.
Easy to say in theory.
Right. Well, I need to know what it does to you.
Right.
If it did the same things that it does to a woman, like, gives me a bigger penis in the way that, a woman gets bigger boobs.
Bigger vagina?
Yeah.
We also...
Well, if it was like going to make me gain weight and be more emotional, I'd probably say no to it.
Okay.
I'd be like, well, I have problems with my weight beyond, taking a pill. So why, the emotional part, I don't know.
What if it didn't have those effects? Would you do it?
Yeah.
Okay.
If there's no side effects, I have total control over this cum.
Right. Making sure. I mean, would you feel, but you probably feel better after every.
I'd be a more confident lovemaker.
Yeah.
Because I would it wouldn't be on my mind. Mm-hmm. I don't know. But there's if there was a male birth control, I would assume.
But yeah, to bring it back, if he took the condom.
Time for this guy to get on the road.
I don't know. I feel like it would be a red flag.
Wouldn't the deal breaker be more that he's an idiot?
Kinda. Yeah, I agree. I think it'd be a red flag. I don't think that would make me, if everything else was perfect, I think I'd get over it. If I'm being honest.
No,
dating is hard.
I relate more to the guy who takes the condom out of the trash with him than I want to admit.
That's very funny.
So,
all right. J&J Benefit subscriber here. Love everything you do. I, 27 female, have been dating my boyfriend, 26, for 2.5 years, with talks of engagement in a year or two.
Ooh.
But I feel like I'm being treated like a child or dealing with a high school mean girl every time I have to interact with his mom.
Uh-oh.
I've been left out of dinner plans with his family before and practically had to pull teeth for them to come to my house for dessert and champagne to meet my family after he and I shared a milestone in medical school. When we visit them, we aren't allowed to sleep in the same room. We aren't allowed to go on a date without a guilt trip for leaving her. We aren't even allowed to drive separate to things because we can spend time with her in the car. One time, my boyfriend said he liked a shirt, so my dad bought him the shirt. And apparently the solid color button-down shirt was so ugly that his mom needed to buy him a whole new wardrobe so he never had to wear it again. Those are in quotes, so those are, I guess, what she's saying. Or he could, quote unquote, save it for the bowling alley if he really wants to wear it. An event the brunch table refers to as Shirtgate. Since Shirtgate, I told him I can no longer visit his family's house unless he sets boundaries, but I'm so nervous going forward. What is going to happen when we moved in together before we're married? Planning a wedding? If we have kids? This is truly the only thing I'm hesitant about moving forward with him, and I don't know what to do. He's the best partner in every way, but I cannot stand his mom, and now I feel relief anytime I'm unable to visit them or see them while they're in town, which honestly makes me sad. Am I going to be miserable every time I have to see her for the rest of my life, or keep dodging her forever? I don't know what to do. Red flag or deal breaker? His mom clearly hates me.
This is so tough because as a guy in the position of like figuring out a mom and a girlfriend, I've had this not go well and you feel completely helpless.
Okay.
You really don't know what to do other than...
I mean, it's clear one person's wrong, though, from her side anyway.
Based on her telling.
Yeah.
So
I think she does sound horrific.
Right. The mom sounds like a problem.
Yeah.
I don't think he's giving her the whole story.
Okay.
The mom has an issue. We don't know what it is. Because based on this email, she's perfect. She loves her son.
Right.
Why would she have a problem with someone who loves her son? Obviously, the mom doesn't feel that this... I mean, they're in medical school together, so, like, this person's, like, doing well. You know, like...
Right.
It's... Based on this email, it is very strange for this mom to be such a cunt to her.
Yes.
So, like, it's
she doesn't like her.
Right.
Clearly,
So it's like, we don't know something. Like, if I'm to be the, you know, the investigator.
Maybe the mom's just a fucking bitch.
I don't believe that. That's why I use the C word.
The thing
because
about the bowling alley shirt is, like, really mean.
Right.
That
and
she would know about this and that, like, that would be said in front of her.
A whole new, but, like, I've heard my mom say things, like the quote she gave, like, say things to be heard, but not directly to her.
Okay.
Like, it sounds like that was something said, we're going to have to get you a whole new wardrobe with this new bowling shirt. Like, I don't think that was, like, said to her directly. Like, if I'm to, like, imagine how this plays out, it's like a off-the-cuff, just shitty thing to say around the person who got the gift for you. So, obviously, you're just trying to be shitty to this person.
She's not inviting her to things. That's weird.
It's weird. I'm trying to think from the guy position where I've been in the middle of the two, and it's always that I know something that someone doesn't.
So what advice do you give to this woman?
It's got to be between you and the son and your boyfriend.
Okay.
And you got to empathize. To me, and I'm speaking from, I know that you have a different opinion on this.
Let's hear it.
But I would say you got to team up with the boyfriend to figure out how to make this work.
So it's her problem.
Well, I would just say, like, sometimes what happens is in this situation, and I will say as the guy who's like, I don't know what to do. Like, I don't think this boyfriend, it's based on the email, I think that I'm like a lot like this guy. Where I would be like, I don't know how to fucking fix this, so I'm just going to ignore it. Like,
helpful.
Well, that's because sons and their moms very rarely put in positions to, like, challenge their mom. Like,
I don't know if that's true.
What do you mean?
I mean, I think any adult can, like, challenge their parent if they're
you
acting.
can,
yeah.
But I'm saying mothers and daughters challenge each other.
Okay.
Mothers and daughters go at it. Like, you know, with clothing, with relationships, I would do it differently than you. Mothers and sons, the relationship is just different.
I'm not getting what the advice is here, though.
The advice to me, like, how would I want to do this? I would want the person I'm with to go, okay, we need to figure out how we make this relationship with your mom work. Not, hey, Jared, go take care of it. Tell your mom to stop being a bitch.
I would say that.
Yeah, not going to work.
I think that's fair.
I don't think it's going to work. I just think that's...
well, then maybe we wouldn't be a match. Well, that's what here, my tactic, a little bit more manipulative maybe.
Sure.
Is I would say to my boyfriend, listen, I'm not really looking to spend the rest of my life with, like, this person who feels like they're going out of their way to not be nice to me, to be mean to me. Maybe we're not going to work out. Because I don't think that, like, I'm not interested in, like, not being invited to things or being treated this way. And that seems to be okay with you. So, like, I don't think this is going to work out. This is... And then, like, that's his choice.
At that
and then
point,
he can say,
right?
And then we'll find out how badly he wants the relationship with
You're basically saying it's me or your mom.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying you change the way that I'm treated in your family.
Well,
or I'll find someone whose family is more welcoming to me.
Here's the thing. I would say, and I need your help in that process.
If you would like to make this work.
Right. I want to make this work. I need you to, like, sit here with me and understand, like, we got to come up with a plan together. Because I can't do this on my own. Like, I think you have to...
What's the plan? Kill the mom.
Concepts of a plan. We would have... No, I'm just saying, like, a lot of times what has happened in my...
I just don't see what the plan would be.
Well, I think it's like, give me some time here to, like, figure this out with her.
Sounds like a procrastinating plan.
Yeah, you're trying to figure out... And listen, I've gone and talked to a mom and been like, can you stop this? What's going on? And you go, and you don't get anything back. You're like, I can't understand. I don't know why I'm not getting any movement here. And then it's like, well, I tried. and then you go back to your girlfriend, and they're like, is it fixed? And you're like, no.
Well, here's what I would want. If my family's not inviting you, I'm not going to go either.
Right.
I don't think you would do that.
Well, I guess I would, in my opinion, I would want for one of the things to happen so that I could attack the thing. So, okay, let me know.
The shirt. Let's talk about the shirt.
The shirt. Well, I would want
Shirtgate.
when it happened, I would want my girlfriend to say, here is when it's happening. There's an event that I'm not being invited to. What are you going to do with this thing? I think it's easier when
what would you do?
And I would say, why didn't you? Because you're dealing with
So you go to your
women.
mom and you say, why didn't
you invite so-and-so to this event?
It's just going to be the family and your brother's girlfriend.
You don't think that's weird? Well, at least I could attack that one scenario. I think so-and-so thinks you don't like them is really hard.
Want the evidence.
I need the evidence, and because what happens is it happens, and then you get reported to, look at what happened, and then this 7 things, and you're like, well, it's too late to attack now. We're already past it. Man, I feel like I'm back in this relationship. I'm just, if you take anything away from me, maybe I can't give you advice, the listener. Just know that this is how uncomfortable your boyfriend is.
Well, here's the thing. Mom's not the head bitch in charge.
Sure.
She's just not.
This is why you got to go to the boyfriend. I'm sorry to interrupt, but this is why you have to go to the boyfriend. And it's like, does your mom know that we're going to get engaged?
Right.
I would add, that's the question I would ask my boyfriend. Does your mom know that we're serious, or does she think this is not serious? Because the way she's treating me right now is like I'm some, street whore that you brought home to fuck. So can you because because I've been guilty of that where I'm like, I'm holding back, and my mom doesn't trust that this is going any further. Maybe that's why she's not trying as hard as she should.
Right. I do think, to wrap this one up, I do think it is, if you are in a relationship, it is your job to protect your partner. And if you don't want to protect them, if you don't think they're right, if you don't think that the mom is someone who's always there, if you don't think they're right, then you shouldn't be with them.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't think they deserve protection, you don't think they deserve to be respected by people that you're bringing into their life, then you don't want to be with them.
Well, we agree but that's to the point of you got to is your boyfriend imparting to the mom that you're an important person in his life?
Yeah. And that's
because that's the fight you could have with your boyfriend. I have to assume that I am not really I have zero credibility as your girlfriend to be treated this way.
Right.
That would what I would say to him.
Let's start with that.
I would start, rest in peace, buddy.
All right.
All right, let's do one more. You ready?
Let's do it.
Go for it.
It's your.
Oh, it's my turn. Love the show. Red flag deal breaker. I need your take on, because honestly, this might be a legit psychopath trait, but I'm open to opinions.
We'll find out.
I was dating this guy, and for the first time I spent the night at his place, I woke up abruptly at 3 a.m. because this man turned on his bedroom and hallway lights to go to the bathroom. I'm talking full-on, retina-searing, interrogation-level, solar flare blinding bright lights in his own home. I ask him why, and he casually says, I need to see where I'm going. Sir, this is your house. Are you unfamiliar with the layout of your own abode? Now I'm gathering data to back up my theory. So what's the verdict? Is this move totally unhinged? Thanks, a betch still seeing spots from that 3 a.m. light show.
Get an eye mask, bitch. I think this is fine.
Right.
I don't know where I constantly bump into things when at night. I don't know. Even if I've lived there for years, which I haven't lived anywhere for years, as you know.
Betch's moving company.
I'm more of if I need to put on a light, I need to put on a light. I don't know where I'm going. Get an eye mask.
Right. The way she's made this a personality trait is annoying.
Do you turn on the light when you get
Here's
up?
the thing. I do a lot of things. When I wake up, I've made many mistakes that I look back on and go, shouldn't have done that so that I could have gotten back to sleep.
Shouldn't have picked up the phone.
Shouldn't have picked up the phone. Shouldn't have turned on the lights. I wish I had just kept my eyelids at half mast so that I could go back to bed afterwards. So this guy made a decision in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom. Yeah, sorry, you got disturbed. You had to wake up. Sorry. It happens.
Get an eye mask.
Yeah, get an eye mask.
I wear an eye mask every night.
The fact that he turned on all the lights, I would be I don't think it's weird as much as it's something he did. You know,
you could ask him if he could get a nightlight. That's okay.
Right. Right. I don't think this is something a crazy person does.
Right. If you don't, I've like hit my leg many times, like leaving, going to the bathroom. Not if I've tried to do it in the dark.
And if you have to pee, you gotta fucking pee. So you're like trying to get there as quick as possible. You don't want any chance of like missing the walk to the bathroom.
I also think though, if someone said to me like, "Hey, when you go to the bathroom in the middle of the night, it really wakes me up," and they don't want to use an eye mask, fine. Like, could we get you like a softer light that would turn on?
Right.
Is there a way to do this? Right. Not like you don't know where they're going, loser.
Hey, Magoo!
So, no big deal.
No big deal.
We did it.
We did it. Solved dating again.
Thank you, Spotify. And we'll be back on Friday.
Yeah, the Friday Freshie. I don't know. That's not the name. I don't know.
We'll be back on Friday. Bye.
Boom.
The U Up podcast is produced by Belle Roman and Candice Maniga. Edited by Belle Roman. Social media by Candice Maniga. Guest booking by Ali Friedlander. VP of podcast is Chris Allen. And be sure to follow You Up at u.up.podcast.